Prior to his rebirth in Soul Land, Douluo Dalu, he was a member of the outer sect of the Tang Sect. Tang Sect was a school of assassins who specialized in poisons and hidden weapons. Among the Tang Sect outer sect disciples, he was the third most senior, and therefore came to be known as Tang San. Even among them, he was considered a genius not seen in 200 years. Wanting to know the secrets of the Tang Sect that was only taught to the inner sect disciples, he broke into their sacred place, stealing the knowledge. Having read and mastered its contents, knowing he committed a crime, he committed suicide by jumping off the Hell's Peak upon his birth in Soul Land, Douluo Dalu. He realized that he retained his memories from his previous life. Coincidentally, he was named Tang San. He was raised by his father Tang Hao, who was an alcoholic and a blacksmith in the village of Holy Spirit. Tang San was brought up in the Holy Spirit village. In a year, he mastered the world's language. Since he was young, he tried to master his Tang Sect ability, mysterious heaven skill, but was unable to break through with it. He lived with his father, who was a drunkard. He wanted to learn blacksmith techniques from his father in order to make hidden weapons. At the age of 6, he underwent the awakening ceremony. From it, he received the tool spirit blue silver grass, which was considered trash by all, but unknown to the others. He also received another spirit, clear sky hammer. However, everyone was astonished to find Tang San had innate full spirit power, which was an extremely rare occurrence, but considered a waste when combined with blue silver grass. Upon seeing that Tang San's spirit was blue silver grass, his father became emotional, stating it was inherited from his mother. Tang Hao was then astonished upon seeing his son had twin spirits, and allowed him to attend the Beginner's Academy, although he forbid him from disclosing his second spirit power. Tang Hao imparted some of his blacksmith knowledge onto Tang San before he left for the academy. Upon reaching the Nuoding Academy, he is recognized by Grandmaster for having twin spirits. Thus, Tang San recognizes Grandmaster as his teacher. Afterwards, he reaches his living quarters, where he is immediately challenged by Wang Sheng, the boss of Room 7. Tang San without any problem defeats Wang Sheng in a duel. Within a few minutes, a new female student also arrives at the dormitory. According to the rules of room number 7, Tang San is forced to fight the new student, Xiao Wu. Not wanting to injure her, Tang San goes easy on her but gets defeated by her, thus transferring the title of boss of room number 7 to her. Xiao Wu, being a cheery, rash girl of the same age, takes a liking to Tang San. As Tang San having received beddings from Grandmaster, Xiao Wu forces him to share the beddings, causing their beds to be adjoined. She, also being exceptionally strong, trains together with Tang San, often dueling with each other. 5 years later, following graduation from Nuoding Academy, Tang San along with Xiao Wu, under the instructions of Grandmaster, comes to Suochuo City to enroll in the Shrek Academy. After undergoing tests to enter the academy, with one of them being prevailing against Zhao Wuji, the vice dean of the Shrek Academy, a spirit sage ranked spirit master, with the help of his hidden weapons, they successfully enroll in the academy, along with Zhu Zhuking and Ning Rongrong. Tang San also meets Daimyo Bai, Oscar and Ma Hongjun. These 7 students, being the only 7 students of the academy, make up the Shrek 7 Devils, a group of young, exceptionally talented and genius spirit masters. After Oscar breaks through the 30th spirit rank, they go to Dou Forest to find the 3rd spirit ring for Oscar. They happen upon a phoenix tail crest serpent with cultivation exceeding 1,300 years. After capturing it, they are challenged by Chao Tianxiang, who claims the serpent belongs to her and her granddaughter. To decide who gets the serpent, Tang San accepts the challenge from Meng Yiren, Chao Tianxiang's granddaughter, on behalf of Oscar. After successfully defeating her, Tang San cultivates to recover from injuries, and also breaks through the 30th spirit rank 6, becoming the youngest in Shrek Academy history to reach rank 30, which however is soon broken by Xiao Wu. They are attacked by a titan giant ape called Ming, who kidnaps Xiao Wu. Tang San immediately sets after the titan giant ape, and gets attacked by a man-faced demon spider. With the help of the godly Zhuge crossbow and clear sky hammer, Tang San manages to defeat the spirit beast. Meng Shu, along with his wife Chao Tianxiang and granddaughter Meng Yiren, arrives at the scene. Meng Yiren, furious that he stole her spirit beast, again challenges him to a knife-throwing contest. Tang San, thanks to his proficiency with hidden weapons, overwhelmingly defeats Meng Yiren. Then he goes on to absorb the spirit ring of the man-faced demon spider, wanting to quickly go and save Xiao Wu. Several hours after beginning the process of absorption, Xiao Wu comes back to the Tang San and the rest. After seeing the man-faced demon spider, she reveals that its cultivation exceeds 2,000 years, which is way over the limit for the absorption of the 3rd spirit ring. Tang-san undergoes excruciating pain, but finally manages to absorb the spirit ring, and at the same time obtains an external spirit bone. Afterwards, they return to the Shrek Academy, and Grandmaster arrives as well, taking over the training of Shrek 7 Devils. Grandmaster gives them team-building exercises which are extremely hard but very effective. The second stage of Grandmaster's training consists of the Shrek 7 Devils participating in the Great Spirit Arena in Dugu City to achieve Silver Spirit Fighter badges. They all wear masks and uses assumed names to hide their identity, with Tang-san becoming the Thousand Hands Asura. Tang-san having formed a team with Xiao Wu before, as the 3-5 combination takes part in individual, 2 vs 2, and team matches. Their first team battle is against the Mad Battle team, who are all spirit masters above the rank of 35. Everyone assumes it will be an easy victory for the Mad Battle team, but Tang-san with his exceptional wisdom, adaptability, controls the battle efficiently from the very start. Nearing the end, when the Shrek 7 Devils attack the auxiliary spirit master of the Mad Battle team, he unleashes his 1000-year Spirit Rings Fanaticism ability, which causes all of the Shrek 7 Devils to take to air using Oscar's mushroom sausage. With Oscar's spirit power draining, Tang-san asks everyone to leave the ring, taking on the 6 remaining members of the Mad Battle team all by himself. With the help of his external spirit bone, 8 spider lances, and the binding property of blue-silver grass, Tang-san restricts the members of the Mad Battle team, resulting in the Shrek 7 Devils win. They consecutively win their matches, causing them to increase in reputation. Therefore, they are approached by Manager Ao of the Suachuo Great Spirit Arena, asking them to battle against a silver-ranked team, the Emperor team. Tang-san, wanting to defeat the Emperor team, asks Grandmaster to let him plan the entire battle. He effectively lures the opposing captain Yu Tianhing into a trap, and rendering him unable to fight. Infuriated, Dugu Yan unleashes her 1000-year spirit ring, a violet-colored deadly poison called Jade Phosphor Violet Poison. However, much to the astonishment of Dugu Yan, Tang-san with his expert knowledge in poisons, neutralizes it using alcohol and fire. The Emperor team recovers their health with the help of their auxiliary spirit master, and presses on to attack the Shrek 7 Devils. Xiao Wu gets attacked, causing her to get injured and lose consciousness. Infuriated, Tang-san with his eyes turning red, unleashes his 8 spider lances. He immediately poisons the twins and pins Dugu Yan, and the Emperor team quickly concedes, admitting defeat. Having completed 1 month in the Great Spirit Arena, they go to tally up their points earned from the matches. Tang-san with a battle record of 28 wins and 0 losses in individual fights, 28 wins and 0 losses in 2 vs 2 fights, and 28 wins and 0 losses in team fights, obtains 5567 points, thus earning him the Gold Fighter Spirit Badge. After finding out that the teacher of the Emperor team is Qin Ming, a former Shrek Academy student, Grandmaster proposes a student exchange to the Heaven Dou Imperial Academy, as it contains better facilities and spirit mimicry environment. On their way, they enter the Silver Kingdom's Great Spirit Arena to take part in a team battle. However, since there are no level 30 gold ranked team, they challenge a level 40 team of silver rank called the Fiend team, which is a team that often kills in the arena. At the very start of the match, all of Shrek 7 Devils equipped with godly Zhuge crossbows unleashes them, causing a one-sided massacre. This being their first time killing another human being causes them to be devastated, with only Tang-san showing a strong sense of being albeit shaken up. Arriving at the Heaven Dou Imperial Academy, they are welcomed by the 3 elders of Heaven Dou Academy's Board of Education, having Spirit Daluo rank. Having heard exceptional remarks about Tang-san, one of the elders, Zhai Lin, tests Tang-san using his spirit power. The elders are immediately surprised seeing Tang-san resist spirit power that far surpassed his current level. It turns to astonishment upon seeing Tang-san reveal his external spirit bone. The enormous pressure caused Tang-san to complete the fusion with the external spirit bone, break through to the 34th spirit rank, and open one of the 8 meridians, the penetrating meridian. The elders' extreme eagerness to have the Shrek 7 Devils was however deterred with the arrival of Prince Xu Xing. The Shrek 7 Devils, having gotten into a fight with Xu Beng the earlier day for being rude, were denied admission, with Dugu Bo, a title Daluo, telling them to get lost. Disheartened, the Shrek 7 Devils left the academy along with Qin Ming, who quit his post as a teacher at Heaven Dou Imperial Academy. They come across a recruiting poster for teachers for Blue Tyrant Academy. Flender asking everyone to join with him in enrolling. They visit the academy and meet with an old friend of Flender and the Grandmaster, Liu Erlong. She immediately hands over the academy to Flender, renaming it as Shrek Academy. Tang San, after hearing about the past of Golden Iron Triangle from Grandmaster, reprimands him for staying away from Liu Erlong for all these years. Letting him and Liu Erlong have a private moment, Tang San removes himself from their presence, but immediately gets kidnapped by Dugu Bo. However, after gloating at Dugu Bo and successfully deducing the poison that is having a deleterious effect on Dugu Bo's health, Tang San manages to avert immediate death, and instead receives a challenge to successfully withstand 3 of Dugu Bo's poisons. Dugu Bo takes Tang San to his private medicinal garden. Upon arriving, Tang San is astonished to find the ice and fire yin-yang well, along with many immortal herbs. Dugu Bo allows Tang San one day to prepare for his challenge, and leaves him at the ice and fire yin-yang well. Thanks to the knowledge from his previous life, Tang San eats the octagonal mysterious ice grass, and the infernal delicate apricot, which allows to him to dip in the ice and fire yin-yang well, and considerably strengthen his body. The Golden Iron Triangle tracks down and battles Dugu Bo, after he told them Tang San was dead. When they were on the verge of defeat, Tang San appeared and saved them by stopping Dugu Bo, stating that he only went with Dugu Bo to learn about poisons from him. Dugu Bo, although surprised, sticks to the cover story, saying he will have Tang San as a student for about 6 months. After the Golden Iron Triangle retreats, Tang San and Dugu Bo go to the medicinal garden to carry out his challenge. Tang San successfully neutralizes all 3 poisons in the challenge. Dugu Bo, convinced that Tang San can cure him of his and his granddaughter's poisoning, allows him to brew medicine to cure him. As a precaution, he requires that Tang San swallow a pearl containing Dugu's poison and energy, promising it would kill him if Dugu Bo died, but while in him would help speed up cultivation. Tang San thus spends the next 6 months working with and studying the herbs in the private garden alongside Dugu Bo. Tang San uses this time to upgrade all of the poisons on his hidden weapons, including preparing new poisons like the Yanma's invitation, as well as cultivate in the ice and fire yin-yang well. At the end of the 6 months, Tang San receives a special storage tool that can keep living things alive, unlike his 24 moonlight bridges, as well the fulfillment of 3 promises for winning the poison challenge. One was already used to save his teachers and protect Shrek Academy from harm. The second was that he be able to take any herb he wanted from the garden with him. Finally, the third was to have Dugu Bo become an advisor at Shrek Academy. Before they leave to return back to Shrek Academy, Dugu Bo gets a shock that Tang San took everything in the garden, leaving nothing but seeds left. After being away for 6 months, they return to the Shrek Academy with Dugu Bo accepting to become an advisor for the Shrek Academy. Tang San brings back a herb for each of the Shrek 7 devils, as well as the Grandmaster. Dai Mubai gets singular velvet sky chrysanthemum, Oscar gets 8-petal immortal orchid, Ma Hongjin gets coxcomb phoenix sunflower, and Ning Rongrong gets beautiful silk tulip. Tang San then presents a special flower, the yearning heartbroken red, and tells its legend about the flower goddess and the requirement needed to open the flower. First Zhu King and then Grandmaster try, but ultimately both were unable to be the master of the flower yearning heartbroken red, because of their wavering hearts. However, Xiao Wu manages to become the master of the flower, but refuses to eat it, and instead wishes to keep it safe with her at all times. Zhu Zhuking therefore gets the daffodil jade flesh bone, which was originally intended to be given to Xiao Wu, and Grandmaster gets 9 treasure purples oija. Tang San takes the full moon wearing autumn dew, which helps in breaking through to the next stage of purple demon eye, the mustard seed. All the herbs give a considerable boost to everyone's spirit power, apart from Xiao Wu, since she didn't eat her herb, raising everyone by several levels, and even allowing Grandmaster to finally, after several decades of trying, to break through to the 30th level. Everyone is extremely happy and thankful to Tang San, Ning Rongrong, even going as far as to kiss Tang San on the mouth, for finding that her herb had caused her spirit essence to evolve into the legendary 9 treasures tile pagoda. Tang San attends the classes of the new Shrek Academy for the first time, and is immediately challenged to a duel by the self-proclaimed Academy Chief Tai Long. After an initial fight within the classroom, Tang San fights with him again after class in a forest. Tai Long, due to his tenacious character, no matter how many times he got beaten, refuses to accept defeat, causing Tang San to dislocate his joints. The injuries caused by Tang San causes Tai Long's father, vigorous King Tai Nuo, to come to the academy and challenge Tang San. Taking advantage of Tai Nuo going easy on him, underestimating him since he was a spirit master with at least 20 levels difference, Tang San, with the help of his hidden weapons and external spirit bone, manages to defeat Tai Nuo. The following day, Tai Long's grandfather, vigorous god Tai Tan, arrives at the academy seeking Tang San. He makes a wager with Tang San to endure the spirit pressure of Tai Tan for 1 stick of incense, with the conditions being, if Tang San wins Tai Long and Tai Nuo will join Tang Sect, or if Tai Tan wins Tang San will join the One Strength clan. Tai Tan starts with 60% of his power, increasing it slowly to 90%, which astonishes him. With 90% power, unable to hold on, Tang San subconsciously brings out his other spirit, Clear Sky Hammer, which shocks Tai Tan. The match is immediately stopped by Ning Fengzi and Bon Daluo Gurong. Tai Tan, upon realizing Tang San is the son of Tang Hao, his old master, immediately kneels down and shows respect to Tang San, much to his and everyone present's bewilderment. Later, privately, Tai Tan reveals that Tang Hao is the title Daluo, title Clear Sky, from the Clear Sky clan. He then meets with Ning Fengzi, who reaffirms the strength of Tang Hao, stating he was the continent's youngest title Daluo. They then strike up a deal for creating Tang San's hidden weapons, thereby earning him 5 million gold spirit coins. Grandmaster reveals that his father had always looked out for him, and that he beat up Xiao Wuji for injuring Tang San. After everyone except Xiao Wu reaches rank 40, the Shrek 7 Devils along with Grandmaster, Flender, Xiao Wuji and Liu Erlong, sets out to Sunset Forest to capture spirit beasts. They first collect the spirit rings for Ma Hongjin and next Oscar. After that, however, they are unable to happen upon suitable spirit beasts for absorption. Thus Tang San proposes a method to attract spirit beasts using the aromatic Silk Beauty Immortal Treasure Herb. They arrive at the lair of Dugu Bo to be within the margin of his poisonous formation, which would allow them to have a place to retreat to. They then lures in spirit beasts using the aromatic Silk Beauty. Spirit beasts for Zhu Zhuking and Ning Rongrong are captured with the help of the Flying God Claw. Despite the presence of a nearly 6,000-year-old man-faced demon spider present among the spirit beasts, which is perfect for him, Tang San chooses a 10,000-year-old pit demon spider. Tang San then goes on to the ice and fire yin-yang well to absorb the spirit ring of the pit demon spider, utilizing the properties of the well, and using shock from purple demon eye to avoid soul shock will help in the absorption process. After 10 hours he successfully manages to absorb the spirit ring and return to the others. Opening ceremony, the Shrek 7 Devils then enter Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Tournament, with Tai Long, Huan Yuan, Jing Ling and Jiang Zhu as the substitutes. They are straightaway ridiculed for their snot green-colored uniform. During the opening ceremony they are matched up with the second team of Heaven Dou Imperial Academy. Dai Mubai, Tai Long, Huan Yuan, Tang San, Xiao Wu, Yun Ling and Jiang Zhu takes part in the battle. However, everyone's scorns are immediately converted in amazement and shock following the appearance of the Shrek Academy's spirit rings, especially seeing Tang San's 10,000-year fourth spirit ring, which is an unprecedented occurrence. On Tang San's command, everyone of Shrek Academy team sets upon the opposing team except Jiang Zhu, who casts a ring-wide healing effect. They cause heavy injuries to the opposing team and finishes the battle in 1 minute. After the match, Ning Fengzi takes Tang San to meet with Shu King, who reveals what he knows about Tang Hao's seclusion. Then Tang San goes to cultivate with Ning Rongrong on techniques handed down by the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile clan. Elephant Armored School, given the choice to fight or give up to save their strength against the Elephant Armored Academy, Tang San chooses to fight. He comes up with a strategy and does not field the full strength of the Shrek Academy, whilst substituting Zhu Zhuking for Tai Long and Oscar for Jiang Zhu. Following the start of the match, he takes to air with the help of Oscar's flying mushroom sausage, carrying the whole team with him. He restrains the whole team using blue-silver prison, and commands Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuking to unleash Hell White Tiger, and manage to defeat the Elephant Armored Academy. Following the forfeiting of a match by an opponent, not wanting to stick around, Tang San makes his way back to the Shrek Academy all alone. He soon discovers there seems to be something wrong, and encounters Xianyan, who has trapped him within a dream, in order to kill him. Tang San is subjected to his worst fears, but he manages to break free using the purple demon eyes, and strikes Xianyan with the Yama's invitation, effectively killing him. He collects Xianyan's dropped skull spirit bone. Blazing Academy, wanting to go up against Blazing Academy despite Grandmaster's cautions, he takes part in battle with the 4 substitute. He tries to drag the opposing captain Huo Wushuang into a trap, but the situation becomes reversed due to Huo Wu's ability, with him becoming a target of a 4-on-1 attack. He effectively displays his close combat fighting prowess, and uses one of the opponents as a shield to make the 3 others deflect their attacks. When Huo Wu uses her final attack, leaving his teammates behind, he goes forward to meet with the attack. He withstands Xiao Wu's fourth spirit ring ability due to his fire immunity, stating the opponents had been led the false conclusion by him that his spirit cannot withstand fire attacks, and thus he had not used any in the match. With that he traps the opposing 7 in blue-silver prisons, thus winning the match. Blue Sunshine Academy. Before the fight against the Blue Sunshine Academy, Xiao Wu, angry that Shrek Academy is using more power against the Blue Sunshine Academy than the Blazing Academy, bumps into Tang-san. Tang-san subconsciously neutralizes her force and sends her tumbling, immediately bringing out the godly Zhuge crossbow to take anyone who stands in his way out. However, Xiao Wu leaves without making a scene. Blue Sunshine Academy coma. At the start of the match, Tang-san makes everyone wait without attacking, in order to see what the opponent would do. After the Blue Sunshine Academy unleashes the 7 Asura Dreamland by combining their power, they reveal their knowledge over Shine Yan's death, and their intent to kill Tang-san for the spirit bone. Tang-san makes his teammates act as if they were seriously injured, and then attacks the opponent's brains with his purple demon eyes. This destroys their sanity and brings their IQs down to the level of a 2-year-old's. Skywater Academy. After having to forfeit 2 matches following their victory against Blue Sunshine Academy, to keep up the pretense that they are injured, they continuously win their matches, arriving at the final match of the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Tournament qualifiers. Their final match is against a Skywater Academy. From the beginning of the match, Tang-san is pressured by the opposing captain and control system Spirit Master Shui Bing-er. She effectively controls the battlefield to her advantage, restraining Tang-san's ability. However, Tang-san manages to make an opening and strike back. This causes Shui Bing-er to unleash her spirit fusion ability Drifting Snow. Tang-san, not wanting to back away, takes up her challenge to withstand her attack. Before the very final attack, Tang-san makes the others leave the ring and confronts the spirit fusion with the help of the 8 spider lances. However, when Shui Bing-er admits defeats, Tang-san admits defeat along with her because he had never considered using the 8 spider lances to fight until the finals, and thus the match ends in a tie. Following the fight against the Skywater Academy, he secludes himself in his cabin at the Shrek Academy to reflect on his actions, causing him to fall into a depression. He goes 2 days without eating, heavily doubting his abilities and the strength of his tool spirit blue-silver grass. He thinks to stop cultivating in that and start using the clear sky hammer instead. Dugu Bo then arrives and speaks with Tang-san. They share stories and he advises Tang-san, saying the reason he thought Tang-san is a monster was exactly because of his blue-silver grass spirit. This causes Tang-san to clear out his doubts. He becomes further excited when Dugu Bo reveals that the prize for winning the competition will be 3 spirit bones. Xiao Wu is pleased that Tang-san had come out of his dark mood, and after a hearty meal, they have a duel without the use of hidden weapons and spirit power. Tang-san is defeated, and they share a moment of passion embraced in each other's arms. Xiao Wu's insights further help him to strengthen his blue-silver grass and erase his weaknesses. He trains by himself for a while, forming a variant form of blue-silver prison, known as the blue-silver thrust. He then joins up with the others to train under Grandmaster's regimen, constantly battling against Liu Erlong. He comes up with a scheme to defeat her by intentionally lowering their abilities as to appear weak, and on the final day goes out full strength, managing to defeat her. This causes Liu Erlong to lose her temper following her defeat and beat them up. Tang-san and the rest arrives at the Heaven Du Imperial Household Barracks to partake in the ranking competition. He is met with Ning Fengzi and Shu King, who offers to move them to better quarters if he wishes it. Their first fight at the ranking competition is against Balak Academy. After Xiao Wu successively defeats 5 opponents, Tang-san appears on the ring, but after seeing his 4th spirit ring, the 2 other opponents forfeit their match. The 5th match in the ranking competition is against the Blazing Academy. Tang-san is the first contender, and he battles against Huo Wushuang first, and defeats him by utilizing his Tang Sect techniques, with the minimal use of his spirit power. He goes on to defeat 5 more opponents, thus successfully defeating 6 in a row. His final match is against Huo Wu, who hates Tang-san a lot. From the start of the match, she uses her ability to push back Tang-san to the edge of the ring, and then causes him to jump into the air. She unleashes her most powerful attack, depleting her spirit power. Unable to stop it, Tang-san proceeds to use Huo Wu as a shield in order to deflect the attack. But seeing she is unable or unwilling to alter the course, he uses his own body as a shield to protect her, which to everyone's surprise, didn't even cause major injuries to his back and his internal organs, but rather only a minor flesh wound. He recovers in a few days and itches to get back onto the fighting field, but is opposed by his team members and made to rest. Thus he decides to take it easy and not fight. Following the fight against Botanic Academy, Xiao Wu asks to speak to him alone. Tang-san follows her to a secluded spot. He explains the reason why he saved her was because he holds no enmity to her, and because he wishes not to hold any enmity between the academies as well. When she asks, she then tries to kiss him on the lips, to which he immediately turns his head to avoid, and the kiss falls on his cheek. She reasons that since she does not want to owe anyone her first kiss squares the debt between them. He quickly washes his face, not leaving any traces of the kiss. He then goes back and comes upon Xiao Wu. He immediately blurts everything out to her, not wanting to keep anything from her. He feels much better after he tells Xiao Wu everything. Xiao Wu then suddenly leaps onto Tang-san, her legs winding around his waist, her arms around his neck, embracing him tightly and kisses him on the lips, causing Tang-san's mind to go blank, and thus she takes his first kiss. The kiss helps Tang-san to understand more of his feelings of real love towards Xiao Wu. After the Shrek Academy's fight against Thunderclap Academy, Feng Xiaoshan finds him and challenges to a one-on-one battle with whoever wins the battle will give the victory to the whole team. Tang-san is initially reluctant to accept the battle, since he is just an individual in the team, but as Daimyo and Grandmaster tells him it's okay, he accepts the challenge. From the start of the match, Tang-san matches Feng Xiaoshan's pace, and is amazed by his strength and speed. As Feng Xiaoshan unleashes his self-made spirit ability Stormwind Demon Wolf's 36 successive chops, being unable to withstand it, Tang-san reveals his Clear Sky Hammer, and uses Disorder-Splitting Wind Hammer to counteract it. This enables him to win the battle. He then tells him that there is nothing going on between him and Xiao Wu. On the way to the Spirit City to attend the finals of the tournament, the whole envoy is ambushed by an army of men pretending to be bandits. Tang-san quickly takes part in the battle, utilizing his full strength, combining his hidden weapons with his mysterious heaven arts, and quickly turning the tide fighting against the Shrek Academy by killing many of them. However, he is then seeked by much powerful opponents, and even the Chrysanthemum Douluo takes part in the battle to kill the members of the Shrek Academy. When Tang-san realizes he is the target of the entire attack, he offers his own life to save the others and let them go free. Dugu Bo also enters the battlefield to take on the Chrysanthemum Douluo, and to restrain him, Gi Mei takes part in the battle. He is then attacked by Chrysanthemum Douluo, which however is stopped by Chen Xin, who causes the entire army to retreat and flee. Following their departure, Ning Fengzi offers protection to Tang-san by sending him to the 7 Treasure Glaze Tile Clan headquarters with Chen Xin. However, Tang-san rejects his offer, stating he wants to help his teammates win the tournament. After hearing from Daimyo and Zhu Zhuking that they absolutely must win against Star Luo Imperial Academy, Tang-san promises them to do his utmost. Upon the instructions given by Grandmaster, Tang-san coordinates his teammates and fully unleashes a barrage of attacks, leaving no room to retaliate, and thus emerges victorious. Having given up the 3-way 1 vs 1 knockout competition in the semi-finals because of the conspiring between Spirit Hall and Godwind Academy, he along with the rest, gets ready for the evening team battle. The Shrek 7 Devils, under the guidance of Grandmaster, produces a 7 Devil fusion ability, with Tang-san being the recipient of all the spirit power, which shocks all the people present at the semi-finals of the competition. Having acquired the power from his friends, Tang-san uses Clear Sky Hammer's Tool Spirit Avatar, which is usually only usable following reaching rank 70. Tang-san thus uses it to utterly crush his opponents of the Godwind Academy. Right from the start of the match against Spirit Hall Academy, Tang-san utilizes his Purple Demon Eyes to resist Hu Liina's charm ability. Following the Spirit Fusion Charm Demon between Hu Liina and Xiao Wu, a red fog is released, which obstructs the vision of everyone except the originator of the Spirit Fusion. However, Tang-san is able to see through the fog due to his Purple Demon Eyes, and thus removes the other Shrek 7 Devils away from the fog, for them to confront the other members of the Spirit Hall Academy team, while he confronts the Spirit Fusion Charm Demon by himself within the fog unseen by all others. He holds out against the might of the Spirit Fusion ability, which surpasses the power of a Spirit Emperor. He unleashes his 8 Spider Lances, and upon this Xiao Wu unleashes his strongest spirit ability, Full Moon. Tang-san counters the Full Moon using his 8 Spider Lances, causing him to shatter all the 8 lances, leaving him bloody. However, his effort dissolves the Charm Demon Spirit Fusion. As a last resort, he uses the shattered pieces of the 8 Spider Lances, and using his Tang Sect secret technique unleashes Batwing Rebound, which attacks all the members of the Spirit Hall Academy team and faints. He is soon awakened by the healing effect of Ning Fengzi's spirit as well others help, the match having been concluded with Shrek Academy's victory, thanks to Tang San's attack, rendering all the opponents poisoned and unable to move. He then reabsorbs the poison, absorbing some of the vitality along with it. At the awarding of the 3 spirit bones, Dai Mubai makes Tang San receive them as the representative of Shrek Academy. Although Tang San wishes to have the focusing wisdom skull, because of Ning Rongrong, he thinks of giving it up, but she shuts him down, letting him take the skull bone instead. Tang San in return hands her the skull bone he had obtained from Xin Yan to Rongrong. Then Bibi Dong orders to capture Xiao Wu, to which Tang San quickly gets in front in order to protect her. He then reveals to Xiao Wu that he had known since he took the herb full moon wearing autumn dew. He tells her no matter what she is, his feeling for her will not change, and confesses his love for her. Tang Hao then emerges from the sky and unleashes an extremely powerful attack which causes all those under the spirit rank of 70 to faint. He then brings away the unconscious Tang San and Xiao Wu. He wakes up to find that Xiao Wu had left back to her home, and he converses with his father. He expresses he holds no hates for him and only loves him. Tang Hao explains about spirit beast evolution and why Xiao Wu is weak, even though she is a 100,000-year-old spirit beast. He then states that Tang San will undergo a strict training regimen by him and sets off traveling. Tang San travels along with Tang Hao while recovering from his injuries, but fully exerting his spirit power to keep up with his father while traversing difficult terrains. After a month of traveling they come upon a mountain range, and Tang San using his fully healed 8 spider lances to climb the mountain. Then they come to an area with a waterfall. Tang Hao advises Tang San to absorb the focusing wisdom skull bone. It takes Tang San 3 whole days to fully absorb the spirit bone, following which his intelligence greatly increases, unlocks his spiritual force which exerts equaling that of a spirit Daluo's, due to his constant cultivation of the purple demon eye since childhood, and also gives him unique abilities. Then Tang Hao seals his spirit power and hands him a metal hammer, telling him to unleash and complete the 81 strikes of the disorder wind-splitting hammer, while on top of a boulder directly beneath the waterfall. It takes him 5 days just to stay on top of the boulder for 5 seconds, and he slowly and steadily start to gain more momentum, and it takes him 3 months to completely unleash the 81 strikes. Having finished that, Tang Hao throws away the metal hammer, giving Tang San a wooden hammer, and repeat the whole process, and to make himself another wooden hammer in case it breaks. Tang San finds it harder to accomplish as the center of gravity has deviated due to the lightness of the wooden hammer, and also due to its nature of getting easily broken under the effect of the force. He learns to control his force, and it takes him 9 months to complete the 81 strikes with the wooden hammer. The training then continued on for another 1 year using Tang San's clear sky hammer, utilizing it to split the waterfall into 2. Tang San's body was made sturdy due to its constant forging under the waterfall. Then Tang Hao takes Tang San to an ancient forest and asks him to feel his surrounding through his spirit power. As he unleashes it, he hears an ancient voice, beckoning him to come to it. Tang San follows it and meets with the Blue Silver King, who is excited to meet him. The Blue Silver King tells Tang San that he possesses the blood of the Blue Silver Empress and helps him awaken it, and at the same time condenses Tang San's 5th spirit ring. The secondary awakening causes Tang San's spirit to change from Blue Silver Grass to Blue Silver Emperor, and also makes him undergo massive changes, thus making him a very handsome person. Returning to his father, he finds out that Tang Hao suffers from severe life-threatening injuries, and tries to stabilize him. As Tang Hao awakens, he stops Tang San, stating that it is nothing new. Tang San however makes him promise not to fight again, threatening by trying to take his own life, if he did not keep it. Then they travel to a tavern, where Tang Hao orders 2 Bloody Marys. After Tang San drinks it, Tang Hao reveals it to be human blood which causes him to throw up and be jeered by the men in the tavern. Tang Hao tells him to kill all the men in the tavern, and Tang San unleashes his 4th spirit ring variant ability Blue Silver Thrust, killing the 22 men quickly. Then he discovers a hidden area within the tavern and goes into it, thus entering the Slaughter City. Having entered the Slaughter City in a peculiar way he broke the rules, and thus is stopped by Dread Knight Scott, who tells him that Tang San has to face him in order to enter the city. Thus Tang San prepares to fight him, but realizes he is unable to use his spirit abilities. However, without panicking he uses Clear Sky Hammer, and attacks Dread Knight Scott, causing him severe injuring, and thus is given the tile with the number 9528, which grants him entrance to the Slaughter City. He is then met by a black-masked woman who accompanies him for 24 hours as rookie protection, answering any questions he has. Upon learning that in order to leave the city he must become the champion of Hell Slaughter Arena, and then challenge Hell's Road. Completing Hell's Road enables you to leave Slaughter City. You will become the champion of the Slaughter Arena once you can achieve 100 wins. After hearing this he asks her to guide him to the arena. On the way he encounters an assassin who tries to kill him, but with Hulina's assistance, Tang-san manages to kill the assassin. Later on in the day, he participates in his first fight in the arena. A year later his record at the Hell Slaughter Arena is 67 wins with having killed over 1,000 people while at Slaughter City. Due to his immense display of strength and complete ruthlessness, he was given the title Asura King and people avoided in participating with him in fights, and making it harder to increase his number of wins. When Tang-san completed 99 victories, Hulina comes to him asking for an alliance. Although wary of her at first, Tang-san listens to her as she explains her origins and the secrets of the Hell Road. Seeing no ill intentions, Tang-san decides to cooperate with her, and gives her pill to counteract the poisonous effect a Bloody Mary has on the body, which she immediately takes, stating that she believes him. After Tang-san completes 100 victories, the Slaughter King descends onto the arena, and invites Hulina into the arena. He then offers them the title of Death God, and says they could enter and leave Slaughter City as they wished. However, Tang-san rejects the offer, and states his goal in coming here was to walk the Hell Road. Once the Slaughter King opens Hell Road, Tang-san feels the ground drop beneath his feet and lands on a round platform. He sees that Hulina's killing intent was going out of control, causing her body to spasm, eyes to turn red, and her body to release faint red mist. Using his innate domain he brings her back to normal. Using his purple demon eye, he sees that the platform was on top of a blood reservoir from all the people that had been killed at Slaughter City. With both their intelligence they realize that they have to be connected while traveling through the Hell Road, and thus Hulina strips, tearing her clothes to pieces. Seeing her near-naked body with alluring features causes Tang-san to be slightly charmed, and when she asks him to strip as well, he states that one person's clothes are enough, and that she was too hasty in stripping and tearing her clothes. She makes a rope using the teared clothes and connects them together. Tang-san takes the front, mostly in order to not have any distracting thoughts seeing Hulina in her underwear. They travel forward and encounter bats who attack them. Tang-san, using his innate blue-silver domain along with hidden weapons, manage to overcome a large number of the nearly countless amount of bats. They then reach a dark golden three-headed bat king which attacks them, and coordinates the movement of the other bats as well, destroying the mountain path they are on. Tang-san puts himself in dangerous positions to test the loyalty to Hulina's alliance with him. With Hulina's help, Tang-san closes in on the distance between him and the dark golden three-headed bat, and crushes its three heads by using the clear sky hammer, godly Zhuge crossbow and purple god light. Following its death the rest of the bats become disorderly and is easily cleared up. After resting for a while they encounter a 10-headed fierce yang serpent. Tang-san takes it on using his clear sky hammer. He uses the disorder-splitting wind hammer, attracting the serpent to him using its gravitational field, as it tries to flee away and obtains its Needin. Going further in the Hell Road causes the killing intent within them to surge uncontrollably, along with the atmospheric temperature. Hulina, who is about to lose herself to the surging within her, trusts her life on Tang-san, urging him to knock her out. Tang-san, after some hesitation, knocks her out and carries her near-naked body looking for the exit, while trying hard to subdue his desires. He reaches a large chasm beyond which lies the exit. Using his 8 spider lances, flying god claw and blue-silver grass, he manages to traverse it. Following reaching the exit, he becomes unconscious. When he returns to he finds that he has received the Death God domain with the pattern of Hell Road embedded into the clear sky hammer. He realizes the presence of Hulina, who had woken up before him. After exchanging a few words and Hulina hugging him, he leaves. He comes upon Tang Hao, who had been nearby. Tang Hao brings Tang-san to the Moon Pavilion, and asks to see the head of the Moon Pavilion, but is asked to leave by the manager for his intelligence, causing Tang-san to lose his calm. As per his father's instructions on not to kill or destroy the place, Tang-san easily subdues the 2 lackeys under the manager. The manager Odd enters into the battle but is suppressed by Tang-san's Death God domain and Blue-Silver Emperor Spirit, causing the head to come out to see the disturbance. She, after hearing the words spoken by the assistants, immediately breaks down crying and hugging Tang Hao, causing Tang-san to be bewildered. She then reveals herself to be Tang Weihua, his aunt. Tang Hao takes his leave entrusting Tang-san to Tang Weihua to cleanse his murderous aura and learn etiquette. After a year, he is number 1 in his class and is allowed to graduate. He learns everything perfectly and to the standards of his aunt. At the graduation ceremony he meets Prince Shu King, however the prince does not recognize him due to the change in his appearance. After parting with his aunt, he follows the map that his father gave him, and arrives back at the mountain range where he trained with his father. On arrival he notices that his father has his left leg cut off at the base, along with his right arm. On noticing this, Tang-san gets very angry, forcefully activating his Death God domain. He is then dumbfounded when his father tells him that he cut them of himself, and that he should know that no one can leave him like this. His father takes him into a cave with a single strand of blue-silver grass. He kneels in front of the grass and cries, realizing that his mother was a 100,000-year-old spirit beast like Xiao Wu. His blue-silver domain opens up, causing the strand of blue-silver grass to grow. After his father tells him what happened to his mother, Yin, and the events that took place 20 years ago, he promises that he will repay his parents' debt. He then accepts his father's request of making the Clear Sky clan flourish again. He tells his father that at the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well, plants will grow 1,000 times more quicker than the normal rate, and this might help his mother recover. After giving his father a dragon zoysia leaf, he instructs him to take one once a month to solidify his body's vitality and recover his health. Tang-san is then handed over a case which contains 3 extremely valuable spirit bone. One of it came from his mother, and as he is a bit hesitant on whether to accept it, a leaf from Yin's blue-silver grass wraps around him, urging him to merge with it. Thus Tang-san absorbs the right leg bone which his mother left for him, and the absorption process goes extremely smoothly without any pain or rejection. After he absorbs it, he puts the other 2 spirit bones away, as he was asked by his father to return them to the Clear Sky Hammer. They then makes their way to the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well in the Sunset Forest, where after finding the optimal place for Yin to grow, she is replanted. Tang-san then helps to stabilize Tang Hao's cultivation, and also produces a pill using his own blood to allow Tang Hao to remain at Yin's side, without any repercussions from the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well. He then, following the map given to him by Tang Hao, makes his way to the Clear Sky clan, and arrives at a remote village. He is shocked to see the deterioration. The villagers aren't welcome to any outsiders, but upon seeing his Clear Sky hammer, he is asked to wait. 3 people then arrive in order to escort him to the true area of the Clear Sky clan. They traverse through a mountainous area and arrive at an entirely separated area, which can only be accessed by crossing using a harness attached to metallic chains. As they are crossing, an incident occurs with a massive bird snapping the metal chain, thus causing 2 the escorts and Tang-san to pummel down. Tang-san quickly uses his blue-silver grass in order to save them, and successfully manages to enter the Clear Sky clan. He then meets with his uncle, Tang Xiao, for the first time, who is accompanied by Tang Weihua. Tang Xiao, using his spirit and the presence of Untitled Dalu, pressures Tang-san. Tang-san, however, unleashes his both domains and uses all his strength to withstand it, and manages to pay his respects. Tang-san returns Tang Hao's spirit bones, causing both Tang Xiao and Tang Weihua to be immensely sad for their brother. Tang Weihua then explained the power distribution in the clan, and allows him to rest for him to be inducted into the clan on the next day. The following day, after having breakfast with Tang Long, he is taken to the Clear Sky clan courtyard, where he is met with the elder and the other disciples of the Clear Sky clan. They are very unwelcoming and hurls abuses at him, and Tang-san releases the Death God domain to quell their outbursts. The 7th elder calls him a bastard, abusing his mother, thus Tang-san challenges him to a duel. The 2nd elder, deeming it inappropriate, makes Tang Hu battle him instead. As soon as the match starts, Tang-san traps Tang Hu using blue-silver prison. In order to break it, Tang Hu is forced to use a lot of spirit power. Tang-san then proceeds to break all of Tang Hu's abilities. Tang-san then uses spiderweb restraint to immobilize Tang Hu. When Tang is about to use his 5th ability, Blue-Silver Overlord Spear, on the immobile Tang Hu, Tang Tianshan runs in front of Tang Hu, causing Tang-san to be alarmed and back down. After removing the spiderweb restraint, he reissues his challenge to the 7th elder, and asks him to use his 40% of his power, to which the elder accepts. Tang-san then asks for the fight to be on the iron cable bridge between the mountains. On the chains, the elder allows Tang-san to start the fight, and falls for Tang-san's feint, but is unfazed by it. He then proceeds to use his 3rd spirit ability on Tang-san, causing his hammer to become enormous and chase Tang-san. The battle goes on with the 7th elder gaining the upper hand by unleashing his 2nd, 5th and 6th spirit ring abilities. However, Tang San manages to avoid being injured using his ingenious methods. The 7th Elder uses his Spirit Tool Avatar, along with the Spirit Doppelganger ability. Tang San thus unleashes the Purple Demon Eye, along with the Blue Silver Overload Spear. But in order to avoid the Purple Demon Eye's attack, 7th Elder is forced to his full strength in a split second, and attacks with the Tool Spirit Avatar, subconsciously causing Tang San to be indented into the mountain. The iron chain breaks upon its force, and both plunge down with Tang San's 5th Spirit Ring ability, causes the 7th Elder to plunge further into the abyss. Tang San then emerges from the mountain with some minor injuries, and begins to cultivate in order to regain his strength. Tang San was then acknowledged as a clan member. When he asked if he could pay respects to his deceased grandfather, he is rejected by the elders, as his father's errors have not been repaid. To pay his respects and repay his father's errors, he must complete 3 requests by the elders. He must reach 80th rank, bring back the head of a title Douluo from Spirit Hall, and have a 100,000 ring as his 8th ring, all within 10 years. Knowing the difficulty, he reluctantly accepts the requests by the elders for the sake of his father. Tang San returns to the Shrek Academy to find Dai Mubai, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing and Ma Hongjin waiting at the entrance. He calls out to them, and since his appearance had changed drastically, the others react hostilely, releasing their spirits in order to battle him. Seeing this, Tang San releases his 4th ability and traps them. He then shows them his spirits and his 8 spider lances, proving that he is Tang San. After greeting his teachers, he updates everyone on what happened during the 5 years. He then agrees to showcase his strength along with the others, to show their level of improvement to the academy. Prior to the start of the match, Tang San takes his master's advice and wears a mask to not reveal his current appearance. As soon as Erlong signals the start of the match, Tang San used his 4th ability on Xiao Wu, trapping him. Simultaneously, Tang San released his blue-silver domain, causing the grass to become extremely tough and rigid, making the cage solid. Even when Wu Ji used his 7th ability, his Spirit Avatar, he was still trapped by waves of blue-silver grass. He effectively controls the battlefield, giving advices to his teammates and keeping Flender and Xiao Wu in check. He uses Parasite to stun Xiao Wu, following his clash against the Hell White Tiger, thus stunning him and allowing Ma Hongjin to finish him off. He also keeps Flender in check by utilizing the Purple God Light and takes to air using his flight ability. However, in order to give Flender face, he along with the others pretend to lose, thus ending the battle. Afterwards, he expresses his desire to reunite with Xiao Wu, and then see where life takes him along with her. He promises the others to meet in 5 years' time, and thus have a whole Shrek 7 Devils reunion. Tang San leaves the academy and runs towards Dou Forest, hoping that Xiao Wu is safe. As he walks deeper into the forest, he uses his blue-silver domain to examine the surroundings. On doing so, he notices that the blue-silver grass being extremely nervous and defiant. Thus he makes his way to see the cause of it, and detects a team of 20 people from Spirit Hall, including Yu Guan, Gi Mei and the Golden Generation. On detecting the powerful party, Tang San becomes suspicious that they might be here to capture Xiao Wu. To confirm his suspicion, he makes himself visible to them. After he successfully integrates him into the team pretending to be an abandoned disciple of the Clear Sky clan, he moves along with them to try and warn Xiao Wu. During their travel, he secretly searches for her and encounters a powerful spirit force, making him vomit blood and lose consciousness. Having discovered extremely powerful existences, knowing that the Spirit Hall team would be unable to contend with them, he makes them go to that location. Following the 2 title Daluos, the Golden Generation and everyone else from Spirit Hall to the center of Dou Forest, he is stupefied in seeing Xiao Wu, noting how beautiful she has gotten over the past 5 years. He watches the 2 title Daluos fight against Erming and Aming. On seeing the 2 great spirit beasts immobilized by a spirit fusion, and on hearing Gi Mei's orders to capture Xiao Wu and retreat, Tang San makes his move. He targets Xiao Yu's acupuncture points, and makes him unconscious out of consideration for Huliina. He then proceeds to kill 7 other spirit sages with his hidden weapons, and the variant of his 4th ability. After throwing Xiao Yu's body at Huliina, he shouts for Xiao Wu, while thrusting himself into the air, with his 8 spider lances. Flying towards Xiao Wu, using his mother's spirit bone ability, he uses his blue-silver emperor to pull Xiao Wu towards him, and flies away from the chaos. He gives up on flying on realizing it was impossible to escape 13 spirit sages as well as Yan, and goes into forest. He, holding on to Xiao Wu, travels through the forest, while taking steps to attack the agility attack system spirit masters, who are right behind them in hot pursuit. He manages to kill all 4 of them, using the poison in his 8 spider lancers, the cluster soul chasing balls, and with Xiao Wu's help. Just as it is possible to escape the other spirit masters who are some distance away, they are attacked by a man-faced demon spider, who hinders them immensely, causing the others spirit sages and Yan of Spirit Hall to catch up and surround them. Thus ensures a battle to the death between the 2 parties. Tang San, knowing that they won't be able to escape, numbs Xiao Wu's body, throwing her away, suffering a hit to remove his leg spirit bone, and handing it to Xiao Wu to fly away, and then stabs himself with an arm of the 8 spider lances to kill himself. However, Xiao Wu, not wanting Tang San to die, unbinds the numbness and uses sacrifice, which integrates her soul completely into Tang San, condensing it into his 6th spirit ring. Then Xiao Wu returns to her original form as a spirit beast, and as she is about to die, she is fed the petals of the yearning heartbroken red, which keeps her vitality intact. This process takes 7 days, during which Tang San unmovingly protects her. Afterwards, when he finds out that she seems to be lifeless, he becomes extremely sorrowful and loses consciousness for 3 days. When he comes to, he talks with Erming, who states that for the revival of Xiao Wu, they would require the medicinal plant sacred soul grass, ginseng king and needin of an ancient beast. Also, Tang San would have to be at the title Douluo level, and sacrifice all his spirit rings to revive her. Tang San unhesitatingly agrees to, no matter what the cost, to go through any suffering to revive her. Then he leaves with the rabbit form Xiao Wu, in search of the man-faced demon spider, who cost their chance for escape. On locating the man-faced demon spider, he attacks and kills it. As he absorbs energy from the spider using his 8 spider lances, the 8 spider lances undergoes an evolution, forming an armor around his body. He then leaves Dou Forest, heading towards Dou City to find Grandmaster, and to raise his strength for revenge against Spirit Hall. Tang San returns to Dou City, and immediately incites the Imperial Forbidden Guards who are present along with Xu Bing. He then reunites with Dugu Bo, who tells him about the current situation, as well as reveals some secrets on the tragic past of the royal family, and the Emperor's poison, which is suspected to be done by Shu King. Having learned about the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan annihilation, Tang San immediately sets off to meet with Grandmaster. As he arrives at the Shrek Academy, he sees much discontent in the Spirit Masters undergoing Grandmaster's training regiment. He immediately takes up the training and even increases its difficulty, showing to all others it can be endured, and that Grandmaster's teaching has made him become an extremely powerful Spirit Master, despite his young age. After telling Grandmaster and Liu Erlong about the events in Dou Forest, he then goes on to cultivate to stabilize his rapid rise in rank. After having a discussion with Grandmaster regarding his 8 spider lances evolution, he tells him his plans to create a new sect. He then sets off to enlist Ma Hongjin and Ning Rongrong's helps, who immediately agrees. Ma Hongjin thus becomes the vice sect master, and Rongrong sets off to ask Ning Fengzi to come meet with Tang San. After Rongrong sets off, Tang San senses a heavy killing intent targeting him, and thus a battle begins with him and a stranger. However, Tang San soon comes to realize the stranger using the godly's huge crossbow, and thus deduces him to be Oscar. After clearing up the confusion, the two talk about the past, and Tang San advises him to not be petty about his disfiguration, and meet with Rongrong, who desperately misses him. They then run into Rongrong, Ning Fengzi and Gu Rong. Allowing Oscar and Rongrong to bask in their reunion, Tang San leaves with Ning Fengzi and Gu Rong to discuss about the formation of Tang Sect, seeking the assistance of 7 Treasure Glazed Tile clan. The next day he heads off to 1 Strength clan and meets with Tai Tan, Tai Nuo and Tai Long. He puts forward his idea to form Tang Sect and his wish to have the assistance of the Strength clan. Tai Tan immediately allows the Strength clan to become a part of Tang Sect and becomes the chief elder. Tang San states the need for a place to form Tang Sect and master blacksmiths, which is immediately provided by Tai Tan. When Tai Tan states that he is about to attend a reunion of the 4 former subsidiary clans of the Clear Sky clan, Tang San asks to join him in the journey in order to rope the other clans into Tang Sect. Thus they set off to their destination. Tang San promises Tai San that Tang Sect will exist as an independent sect, and that it will never integrate itself into the Clear Sky clan. While on the way, they enthusiastically discuss about the production of the hidden weapons, often arguing with each other, which increases their familiarity. At the border of the Dou Empire, they are tried to be extorted by the border patrol, and Bula, Ikao and Yanya reveal themselves. Being acquainted with Bula from before, Tang San and Ma Hongjin confronts the 3 of them. They easily subdue the 3 of them, but Bula manages to disgust them by acting as a transvestite. They arrive at the rising Dragon City, and is greeted by the members of the defense clan. When Yu Gao sees the deference showed by Tang Long to Tang San, he reveals himself as Tang Hao's son, causing Yu Gao to rise in anger. On being told to leave, Tang San challenges Yu Gao to a duel where they are to receive 3 strikes from each other, using only Thyer spirit force. In his first punch he doesn't use any spirit force at all, and doesn't even move Yu Gao. On receiving the first punch Tang San isn't forced back a single step, however on his second Tang San is forced back by more than 10 steps. On striking Yu Guo for the second time, he uses his spirit force, and forcing Yu Gao to retreat by 3 steps. For his third punch he uses the disorder-splitting wind hammer method, and manages to make Yu Gao blast through a wall. Thus he achieves his victory, and Yu Gao accepts to dissolve his hatred for the Clear Sky clan and his father. Tang San then reveals to and astonishes Yu Gao his twin spirits and spirit rings. Afterwards Tang San quietly watches Yu Gao reject Haiyan Zhen's offer for the defense clan to join their sect. When Haiyan Zhen leaves he and Tai Tan convinces Yu Gao to join the Tang sect. The Speed clan arrives next, and Tai Tan and Yu Gao puts up a grave air, stating that the defense clan intends to move to the Heaven Dou Empire, thus won't be able to help out the Speed clan anymore. They then introduce Tang San to Bai He, and Tang San promotes the godly Zhuge crossbow. Bai He, impressed by the hidden weapon, asks for 200 of them, and mistakenly assumes all of them to be only 120 gold. Since Bai He does not have any money to buy them, Tang San puts forth a challenge to compete in speed, whereas if Tang San won, he would get 100 gold, and if Bai Qingxiang won, they would get 1 godly Zhuge crossbow. However, Bai Qingxiang is unable to catch Tang San, thus it ends in her loss, due to Tang San's purple demon eyes and ghost shadow perplexing track. Bai He thus unwillingly parts with the 100 gold. Tang San then issues another challenge directed against Bai He, with the conditions being if Tang San won the Speed clan would join the Tang sect, and if Bai He won, he would receive 500 gold worth of hidden weapons for each of his clan members. Thus Bai He accepts and immediately uses his superior speed. Overwhelmed by the speed, Tang San is forced to use the teleportation ability of his left arm spirit bone. Tang San teleports around the room countless times, however he still underestimates Bai He, and is thus forced to use his 6th spirit ability, causing an illusionary figure of Xiao Wu to appear. On seeing Xiao Wu, he tears up and hugs her illusionary figure. He notices that his 6th ability uses Xiao Wu's soul as an energy source, instead of his spirit force, so he concedes the fight, fearing the overuse of the ability will result in Xiao Wu truly dying. When Bai He tells Tang San the Speed clan will join the Tang sect, if the Breaking clan joins, he promises to convince Old Yang into joining the Tang sect. The next, while Tang San is diligently undergoing his routine morning practice, Bai He comes to him and reveals himself as Tang San's granduncle. Bai He then provides Tang San with an heirloom of the Speed clan, Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng, in order to persuade Yang Wudi to join Tang sect. He then departs before Tang San could refuse him. Soon after, Xiao Wu's rabbit form peeks her head from within the wishful 100 treasure purse, and seeing the Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng immediately pounces on it, and eats it before Tang San could react. As Tang San is about to stop her, Xiao Wu's soul form forcefully summons herself, and lets him know that it is okay. Thus Tang San watches over her as she finishes consuming it, which causes to undergo some massive changes to her rabbit form. Tang San, after hearing about the Breaking clan's arrival, goes to greet them. When Tai Tan introduces Tang San to Yang Wudi and mentions him as Tang Hao's son, he immediately becomes angry and makes haste to leave. Tang San then stands up to confront his anger. He makes a bet with Yang Wudi and fights against him. Tang San goes all out in his fight against Yang Wudi, utilizing his domains, Spirit Bones and Clear Sky Hammer. However, Tang San is barely able to cause massive damage to Yang Wudi, and gets injured in the process as well. As his energy is nearly depleted, having confronted Yang Wudi's strike with the Clear Sky Hammer, Xiao Wu's soul forcefully emerges, which had been previously suppressed by Tang San. Xiao Wu immediately goes into a rage and executes 8-stage drop on the confused Yang Wudi, breaking his bones and nearly killing but stopping short when Tang San asks to go lenient. After Tang San returns to rest, he falls asleep due to being exhausted. When he wakes up, he finds a completely naked girl sleeping on top of him. After a moment he realizes that it is Xiao Wu. Tang San immediately becomes ecstatic, but soon realizes that despite Xiao Wu had regained her human form again, her soul had not completely returned to her body, and thus it was a half-resurrection. Although a bit sad, Tang San is also happy that she had regained her human body. Tang-san, along with Xiao Wu, goes to meet the others. He then presents Yang Wudi with the aromatic silk beauty, which is gratefully received by him. After Yang Wudi agrees to join Tang sect, they all immediately return to Strength Clan and Heaven Dou Empire. He lets Niu Gao and Titan to fortify the Strength Clan base, thus forming the headquarters of Tang sect. After he returns to Shrek Academy, he confronts the 4 element academies, who had been causing trouble on Shrek Academy grounds. He then accepts Feng Xiaoshan's challenge and fights against him, Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang, 3-on-1. Tang-san shocks everyone with his 100,000-year spirit ring, and proceeds to defeat the 3. Afterwards he and Feng Xiaoshan has a discussion where Tang-san flat out rejects Feng Xiaoshan's request to stay at Shrek Academy grounds. Tang-san along with Titan, Xiao Wu, Ma Hongjin, Rongrong and Oscar travel to Gengxin City to buy supplies for the production of hidden weapons. They arrive at the Blacksmith Association and is brought to the highest floor. They meet with Lu Gao, who had been trying to recreate the godly Zhuge crossbow, after buying it from Spirit Hall. When Lu Gao is told that Tang-san is the creator of it, Lu Gao tries to make Tang-san state how it is made. However, Tang-san refuses to tell him as it is part of Tang sect's secrets. Thus Lu Gao resigns from the Blacksmith Association, handing his position to Si Long to become a member of Tang sect. Tang-san allows him to become an elder of Tang sect, and hands him 1/3 of a blueprint of torrential pear blossom needle, as he full doesn't trust Lu Gao. Then Tang-san hands over the list of items they require to be purchased, and despite Lu Gao's intention of selling them cheap, he offers to buy them at market price. They then leave to a restaurant and runs into Bishop Myers. Myers insults Si Long and shows vulgar intentions upon seeing Xiao Wu and Rongrong. Tang-san prevents Ma Hongjin from attacking and flashes him the Supreme Pontiff writ he had received from Grandmaster. Although Tang-san extremely pissed, he restrains from killing Myers at the spot in consideration of the Blacksmith Association. After Myers leave with his subordinates, Tang-san asks from Si Long the location of Spirit Hall branch in Gengxin, to entirely destroy it. 2 days later, having amassed all the necessary materials with Rongrong having found several treasures, they get ready to attend the auction. Tang-san meets with Lu Gao again, who earnestly expresses his desire to be a part of Tang sect. At the auction to some of the materials that Tang-san wishes to obtain, as he makes Rongrong bid to obtain them, they become outbid by Bishop Myers on several precious items. Thus Tang-san makes Rongrong stop bidding anytime Myers makes a bid. After the auction is over, Tang-san and Ma Hongjin sets off to destroy the Spirit Hall branch in Gengxin City. However, they come across Bishop Myers and everyone from the Spirit Hall branch, who had arrived to destroy the Blacksmith Association and steal from them. Tang-san makes Ma Hongjin set off to the Spirit Hall branch, while he kills all the people from it. He then hands over the things stolen from Spirit Hall to the Blacksmith Association, to cover for the losses received by the Blacksmith Association. He also buys the Wishful 8 treasure soft armor from Lu Gao at a reduced price. He hands the male armor to Oscar and the female armor to Xiao Wu. They arrive back at the Strength Clan to see the massive changes that it had undergone after the reconstruction done by the Defense Clan. The new base of Tang sect having been established, they proceed to have their first meeting among the elders of the clan. Tang-san expresses his wishes to make Tang sect one entity, and thus dissolving the 4 attribute clans, and making the heads in charge of different halls of Tang sect. He then introduces the other Shrek devils to the elders, stating that they will also be integral members of Tang sect handling various operations. Afterwards the Shrek devils return to Shrek Academy. Flender, Liu Erlong and Yu Xiaogang are extremely happy seeing Xiao Wu half resurrected. Tang-san is also shocked when he finds out that the 4 element academies had merged with Shrek Academy. Grandmaster promises Tang-san to induct carefully selected members of Shrek Academy to join Tang sect after they graduate. Tang-san is seeked out by Dugu Bo, who tells him that the Emperor Shuyi is suffering from a poison and is in a dire situation, and asks for his assistance. Tang-san immediately follows Dugu Bo to the Imperial Palace, bringing Yang Wudi along with him. However, he is barred from entering the Emperor's chambers by the appearance of Shu King. Tang-san immediately deduces that the Crown Prince sought assistance from the Spirit Hall and poisoned the Emperor. Shu King reveals the 2-titled Daluo with him, who has been specially brought to counteract the powers of Dugu Bo. Thus a battle occurs between the parties of Tang-san, Dugu Bo and Yang Wudi, against Shilong and Sai Shu. Yang Wudi who Dugu Bo hold down the 2-titled Daluo, while Tang-san provides support from behind. Seeing the fight at a stalemate, Shu King tries to discuss terms with Tang-san, acknowledging the fact that he has the full backing of the Spirit Hall. Tang San replies that if he is allowed the fulfillment of 2 conditions, he would help the crown prince, with his conditions being to kill all those who attacked him and Xiao Wu at the Dou Forest, and avenge his mother's death, and the injustice done to his father. Shu King becomes extremely angry, realizing Tang San wants all of Spirit Hall to be destroyed, thus the battle resumes with Shu King joining in showcasing his power as Spirit Sage. Tang San and King fight against each other, and Tang San become increasingly suppressed with his Death God domain being neutralized by King's angelic domain, and from his extremely powerful spirit. Tang San uses his self-created ability Disorderly Wind-Splitting Dance to heavily injure Shu King and depletes his energy. Shu King stops Sai Shu from sneak attacking Tang San to finish him off. Then he takes off his mask to reveal that he is actually a she, and that her real name is Qian Rengsu. She attacks the powerless Tang San with the intention of killing him, but suddenly Xiao Wu's soul re-emerges and combines with her body, thus protecting Tang San from harm. Then Xiao Wu uses the 8-stage drop on causing Rengsu to sustain more injuries and lose consciousness. Xiao Wu then kisses Tang San, and her soul returns back into his body, leaving behind her soulless body. The 2-titled Daluo takes Qian Rengsu and retreat following the arrival of Golden Iron Triangle. Tang San and the others immediately take Emperor Shuyi and return to Shrek Academy. They help out the 7 treasure glazed tile clansmen that are under attack and kill the Spirit Hall's spirit masters. Yang Wudi manages to formulate a cure for Emperor Shuyi's poison, and Ning Fengzi revitalizes him, immediately waking him up. With Emperor Shuyi's backing, they quell the uprising and confusion among the masses. They arrive at the place where some of the 7 treasure glazed tile members remained, to find out the place entirely massacred with a sentence written in blood stating, "Tang San, you win this time. We will meet again." After returning to Shrek Academy, Grandmaster asks what Tang San's plans for the future are, and then instructs him to go to Sea God Island to cultivate and become stronger. Tang San then departs with Lu Gao to the Clear Sky clan. He meets with Tang Xiao and asks his help in producing Tang Sect's hidden weapons with Lu Gao. He then departs to Sunset Forest to meet with his mother and father. He is rather shocked at the growth rate of her mother, who welcomes him and Xiao Wu warmly. He asks for permission to marry Xiao Wu from them. Xiao Wu also combines her soul and body, calling them mom and dad. A Yin drops 2 golden leaves, wraps them around Tang San and Xiao Wu's ring fingers, producing 2 golden engagement rings. He returned to the Shrek Academy, and along with the other Shrek 7 devils, confront Chen Xin, who acts as their instructor to produce immense pressure against them. Their confrontation results in them to ponder about themselves and cultivate diligently. Ning Fengzi brings Tang San to meet with the emperor. Xu Beng, the crown prince, kowtows to Tang San asking him to become his teacher. Tang San is forced to accept. The emperor thus decrees Tang San as the imperial tutor, and gives the royal name, Lan Hao. He also gifts Tang San with the vast sea cosmic shroud. When Tang San probes the vast sea cosmic shroud, his power and blood is sucked out, causing him to lose consciousness. When he comes to, he realizes the functions of the vast sea cosmic shroud and tries them out. On the way to Vast Sea City, they come across a village massacred. They do some scouting and find out that the women and children were taken by a species named Wolftaken. Tang San, Ma Hongjin and Dai Mubai set off to kill the Wolftaken and rescue the remaining villagers. They start assassinating, starting from the back, but unfortunately gets discovered, causing an all-out battle between the 3 and the around 300 Wolftaken. The 3 get confronted by 3 variant Cyan Wolftaken, but the 3 of them manage to secure victory over the Wolftaken, ultimately with execution of the 4th ranked Tang Sect hidden weapon technique, 1001 Nights.